Now, I am very pleased to introduce Randall. I first met Randall when I was in junior high. I was fortunate enough to attend a summer art camp in Rosebud, and he was one of the drawing instructors there. And Randall was central at helping me gain confidence in drawing and cartooning. And so when the I4 team found ourselves looking for someone who could tackle the very tough subject of helping people find confidence to draw, I knew that Randall was the best person for the job. Though trained in painting, Randall has had a varied career that has included acting, both stage and voice, playwriting, marketing, graphic design, sign making, photography, theatrical set and lighting design, and gallery management. This man wears many hats, and through it all, he has been a visual art mentor and instructor to many. His specialty is teaching anyone to draw realistically in a very short period of time. But today, he's here to show us how simple lines can convey our ideas and that anyone can draw. Welcome, Randall. I'm so pleased to have you here with us today. And I would just encourage everybody to turn on your camera if you can, because we're going to be sharing some of our stuff that we're doing today. This is an interactive session. And also, if you have any questions as we're going along, please feel free to drop those into the chat box. I'm going to pass it on to you, Randall. How do you take it away?
Okay. All right. Exactly as Erin said, this is going to be highly interactive. So let's see here. Maybe I should begin already. I'm going to be all over the place because I've got 3 screens all over the place that I'm working with, but I'm going to try and concentrate on. And so if I'm looking in the wrong place, hey, just a little patience with me. That's all. Okay. But I'm going to need your screens because guess what? You're going to be giving me input. This seminar is going to be largely driven by you. It's partially driven by me, but you're going to be inputting things and you're going to be sharing things both verbally and then visually. Because as you're drawing things, the quickest and easiest way is you're going to hold things up to your camera. So unfortunately, you might have to draw a little heavier than you might otherwise. That might mean start off with a pencil and then work over with the marker, something like that, and hold it up. And we're going to be sharing visual ideas, not just verbal ideas. And so that's going to be part of the whole thing. All right. So I'm just going to give you just a slight bit of background. Now, can everyone see me? I don't know which one image people are looking at. Well, whatever. I've got so many things going on here. So just to repeat, have a pencil, eraser, sharpener, marker, lots of paper. Now, I've been teaching art for about, is this the right place?
Yes, that's the right way. No, look back. There you are.
There we go. I just had to grab my notes. Okay.
Perfect.
So here we are. Okay. So now it looks like I'm sort of looking at you.
That's right.
I've been teaching art for about 35 years, and I've learned to combine aesthetic principles with scientific approaches. And through that, I've had the opportunity to teach thousands of people around the world, some who don't even speak English. So we're talking about a visual language. Now, my specialty is to teach people with no previous skill to draw realistically with only a couple of hours of instruction. We're not doing that today. So I'm just saying this in order to say, don't worry about skill or ability, because actually everybody can draw. This seminar is a bit of a misnomer. It says for non-creatives, you are a creative. Every one of you is, and every one of you started life drawing. I mean, not right at the away, but every one of us drew when we were kids, and we drew stick figures and things. And if you can do that, you can do this. In all the time that I've been teaching, I've discovered that anyone can learn to draw well very quickly, and there's only 2 things that they need, and that is that they want to draw and that they believe they can draw. So for now, put aside any doubts and just simply, you're here because of the desire, hopefully, and now just grab onto the belief, put away any negative self-talk because it's destructive and words will stop you, even any self-talk, and just believe that you can do this. So your aim, I think, in being here, if I'm not mistaken, is to be able to learn how to communicate visually, and therefore the key things that enable you to do that are simplicity and legibility. And so I thought, when Erin was talking to me about this, I said, well, what's more simple and direct than stick figures? So we're going to play around with stick figures today. That's where we're going to begin. You can take it other directions should you want to. I'm going to move my notes out of my way so I can share my screen here and get going. Okay, and now I just got to find where the controls are. There they are. And we're going to share this screen over here. All right. Can everybody see that now?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Do I need to have my image on there, or should I take that off?
We can still see you on the side panel, so you
Okay.
can use the whole screen if you like.
Well, I can only go that wide anyway. That's my iPad. Okay. So we're going to just start off at the very beginning. We got to start off with the head. Well, actually, the very beginning is we have to develop confidence. So that confidence comes simply with trying and with practice. So I've got an iPad here, and it actually is a little hard for me to draw on it smoothly unless I lean right into it and take my time. But let's just draw some ovals. Now, if I end up going with that silly, oh, I've got hair happening there. That's cool. But maybe I want to start at the bottom and just practice doing ovals. Well, maybe I want to be more sketchy. Develop your own style, whatever you want to do. And you can do different types of faces or heads, different angles, and just go, wow, this is nothing. What's he even asking me to do? Well, that's exactly what I'm asking him to do. Basically nothing. Just draw an oval and get comfortable doing it. That's the place we're going to start. Okay. Is everybody drawing? Nod your heads. Yeah, good. All right, I'm seeing it. Yeah, that's it. That's the basics. And you'll notice that, wow, do you see different personalities already happening there and different emotions and stuff? There's little signs and symbols happening there. We can take it further. Okay, so we're gonna now take our oval. Whoops, that's pretty bad. Let's just start off better than that and add a body, add 2 arms and 2 legs. And you can see, to communicate, it doesn't have to be neat. I think don't get caught up in that, you know, and with practice you'll get neater, and on the surface you'll get neater, but just start with that. Now, this is the most basic of stick figures and doesn't express a whole lot. So we're going to play with this a little bit and take it to the next level. If we can simply give it elbows and knees. Or if we take it to the next level, and this can do interesting things. What if there were shoulders and hips? And now I've added on top of that some hands. And guess what? Hands and feet aren't hard to draw if you just draw them as a line. And this character is already expressing something. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I don't want you to be too hurried. And I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to move this over and take it one step further. There might be another approach to this that could be pretty cool. What if you did the body as a box, and that suddenly gives you volume? And I'm going to do something else on top of that. I'm going to draw my hands as V's and the feet as V's as well. And suddenly I have a fair bit of interesting stuff going on. So I want everybody, when you've got a moment, show me on the screen what you've come up with. Let's see there. Hi, Amy, I'm seeing it. Okay. Rana, Gord, Adrian. You guys, you're better than me. Excellent. Surpass me. I love the confidence. Excellent.
I love the tip to draw hands as V's, hands and feet as V's, because I know it's really hard to, you get worried that you can't draw a hand or that it's going to look weird. So just having that V is really a good tip.
It's super flexible. It can do so many things. I mean, other people, they suggest just using an oval or a ball for the hands and the feet. I just find that the V is a little more expressive, but guess what? Develop your own style, whatever you're comfortable with. What makes it easy? Because people get all uptight about hands, but with these V hands, I can very quickly have a hand that can grasp things. do even a bit more with it. I can have it open. I can have it closed, actually, fist-like, turn it into an oval. So there's a very, very variety of things I can do with a simple hand like that. Okay. So everyone's doing really good. You're keeping up. All right. Oh, I'm going to just, while you're finishing up with that, just going to mention a few things. Why stick figures? One of the things is human experience, right? A lot of what we're going to need to communicate is about people in relationship, in situations, the experiences of people. And stick figures, quick way, we see them as humanity. They're where we're trained to see this as something. You could draw anything else badly and it would take, people would be like, I don't understand what that is. I don't know what's going on. As soon as you draw a stick figure, it doesn't matter how badly, people recognize it. And we recognize it not just as the symbol, but we see ourselves, we see others in these things. It's kind of strange. We have this ability to project onto this simple symbol who and what we are. And the other thing about it is they're very memorable. You can do amazing things. If you look online and what some people are doing with stick figures, there's some amazingly memorable stuff going on. All right, so we've done some basic stuff, and they're symbols. They're universal. You get past the limits of language with this. So that's pretty cool too. I've just moved the chat window to my main window so I can see it easily. So if you do have any questions or comments along the way, feel free to chat. Okay, so let's move on with that. Okay, let's, I'm just gonna give myself a new page here to draw with. Hide this one. So what if we then start to give it curves? Well, maybe that's okay. Yeah, no, let's do it. What's happening with this figure, right? And if we have any doubt about it, we can do silly things like adding speed lines or dust, cartoony things. Oh, now we know which way it's going and how fast and how much effort's being involved. What if we were to tilt it? So it's all about tilt and curve, and we'll just use those V hands just there. The difference in expression just by curving and of tension, of expression. Let's try this one. And for that, I just use some ovals. So I can be, how could I quickly express that this was joy, even more than what's there? Here's a simple thing. Put a little shadow underneath it. And then
he's jumping.
He's jumping. It's off the ground. It's excited. It's like, as opposed to, I'm mad, And if we wanted to see mad or whatever, we could scrunch it up and get him just really ready to box it out. And we can even put curves into the arms. Things don't have to be totally straight. And he's like totally ready for a fight. What if we then put a couple of these? And he looks like he's steaming mad. I'm going to jump in here and say, hey, let's use V's some more. What if we use V's one more time here? What do you know? V is a simple expression. So you don't have to be uptight about like, oh, I've got to be able to know how to draw a face or anything like that. Let's, why don't we just jump right into that idea of some facial things. Let's play with it. If I'm getting too fast, tell me to slow down. If you need a break, question, anything, let me know. But here we go. I'm going to do a series of ovals. I'm just going to do a bunch. So I've got something to play with. And I'm just going to play with V's. You know what? before this session, I've never really done any of this stuff before. I just had to think about it and play with it a little bit. And you're the same way. If you think about it, play with it, and experiment with it, you will find your own sorts of expression. And so I initially began with, I just want to, like, make angry. And I went, oh, but that doesn't really tell me angry. That could be a lot of different things. But if I do that, and then if I say put another V in there, that looks pretty angry. And what if I were to say, do a couple of these that way and another one that way? Oops, I don't like that last one. I got a better way to do it that way. Now I know for sure what that one's about. What about this one?
Oh, that looks so sad.
Totally sad. Couple of seconds, right? And if I watch this, if I do the same thing, and I do this, what's the expression? Well, how do you interpret it? How about if I do
Surprise.
surprised or confused? If I do this or that, it's like more like confused or dazed. But if I do this, then it's totally surprised, right? So we're using a few cartooning tricks in there. So yeah, we had sad or tired and yeah, confused. So a bunch of different things. So let's throw in, if we do like heat curves on this guy, if we do little sparkly ones on this one, and if we do like question mark, but that's more confused. How about we want to make it sad? Let's make it sad.
Dark cloud.
Cloud, under the cloud. Right. So we can mix these with postures that we've already started to play with. And so they can be, so you've already found out you don't have to do faces. You can do it just with, and the more you play with this, just the gestures and stuff, you'll find the more. Oh, what am I doing? Those are really bad. Let's do this. And someone who's really struggling in their life. And again, it doesn't have to be that he's climbing literal stairs. It can be that the stairs represent, whatever the struggles in their life that they're dealing with. And we can show, guess what? We can put a little bit of sweat on there. I steal a lot of things from anime where they use little symbols like that. Or this one's often used for effort or for embarrassment. So. So I don't know if I've got the right combination going there. Does anyone have anything really cool they'd like to share? Anything they've come up with? Well, I'll tell you what, first play and draw a big head, a couple of big ones and some big expressions and then experiment around for a few. And then I want you to show them, give you a chance to try some things out.
All right, I'm drawing 5 big heads.
Do it.
I'm going to see if I can capture the identities of my design lab team with just these.
Okay. You can show personality as well as
emotion,
and the rest. This in the design world is what we call iteration or thumbnailing, or a lot of you, I'm sure, do brainstorming. Well, what about visual brainstorming? What about taking one idea and working off that and taking it all sorts of different directions? I noticed that all 4 of my right ones all have their eyes pointing in. I'm wondering, what if I had eyes pointing down? What would that look like? Oh, totally like sleepy. Or we did this and then it's like that piece. So you could use dots, you could use circles. I'm going to change this one, change that from a bit of surprise to total shock. All right. Have you amused yourself, Erin?
I have.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
I've stopped trying to reproduce my team. I take it back.
Okay. Well, you just don't want them to see this
No.
recording and see
This is recorded.
Yes.
Are we allowed to process our own emotions in this exercise?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Absolutely.
Totally.
Something I forgot to mention when I was doing those curves and things. I mean, I do this myself when I'm painting, when I'm drawing. Is I'll get into the the pose, the emotion myself, and then I'll look at myself and look in the mirror and go, "Whoa, what kind of pose am I holding? What does this mean?" As opposed to, "Hey, this," or this. All of those I can quickly translate into stick figures just by looking in the mirror, just by feeling it, just by twisting my body and going, if my body is twisted this way, how do I feel? What does it express? And so you can use yourself as a model, and your own emotions and your own physicality. Those are all great things to work from.
I love how the curved line instead of the straight line can convey so much weight in a body, or, curving back or curving forward. It's just fascinating to me how just lines can express emotion.
This person is just like dancing, right? Definitely. Okay. Yeah, a squiggle line for a mouth is it's a cartoon. If you add these, then it's intoxication or been hit by a brick or something. So yeah, it's another way that you can play with it. Closed mouth, or keeping your thoughts to yourself. Oh, okay. It is just a bunch of emojis. I think it is kind of, but it's beyond emoji. And then when you throw the body in, and you can get some pretty complex things. I could see where you could try and express one thing with the face. He's trying to smile, but there's tension in the body. And so you could play with these kind of more complex ideas, perhaps, especially once we take it to the next level, which we're going to get to soon. So does anybody have any stuff they want to show? I'd love to see. Everything's a bit small. Okay, cool. There's the squiggle mouth. Okay, yes, Trina, I'm seeing all those V's. Oh, Trina, that's cool. With semicircles instead. I love that. Okay, yeah. Do I see X's for the eyes? Is that happening with Jen, or did I just imagine that? Oh, notes, musical, singing. Nice, Amy. Yeah. Absolutely. Great.
Charlene's got some musical notes too.
Okay.
Karaoke.
Oh, someone else is drawing on a pad over here. RC. Cool. All right. And Gord. Yeah, that looks a little bit trembly, I think. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because that kind of takes us to a bit of the next part here. I need to get my drawing pad out of the way. It keeps popping into. I got too many things on the desk still. Okay. So let's. Oh, what did I just do? Wow, that was fun. Everything ended. Okay. So we've talked about posture, motion, movement a little bit, and you can use things like cartoon lines, et cetera, et cetera. Expression and emotion. Let's move on to the next thing. Identity. How do we express gender, age, occupation? Okay. Any suggestions? Like, the easiest thing often with those kinds of things is to go with cliches, but maybe you're more creative than the cliches. Cliches are easy because they're pretty universal, but maybe there's a better way. Like, do we simply go, and maybe a lot of times it doesn't matter about gender, but do we simply, is that the difference in gender? Or can we do something a little more interesting? These are the ugliest stick figures I've ever drawn. So I often actually do really bad drawings in front of my students so that they feel better about themselves and realize that they can do just as well as me or better. Scale for ages, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you're talking major changes from adult to infant or a child. Yeah. Okay. Find a plugin. Sorry. Okay, Adrian. The fun of animal.
Accessories.
Okay.
That's a good, like, how can
Accessories?
you add accessories to indicate age or gender?
So here's a quick one that I can totally see. Got this guy, and we simply give him that. Right. So this is going to be one of the things, the key things. You're going to need to differentiate people by a variety of reasons, ideas. I'm assuming with you, you're going to need to differentiate a doctor, a nurse, a caregiver, a patient, and think about different ways. And so I want you to draw some ideas. I'll play around with a few different ones. How can we find different? You're going to show them instead of talk about them. And you can unmute yourselves. You're welcome to do so. It's kind of easy here. We actually only have one page that is sharing video, so I can see you all at the same time. That's great. So play, let's see. So. Don't like that. And here's a key idea is if you do even a little experimentation like this and playing when you're not in front of people, you'll have so much more confidence to be able to jump in when you're in front of people to use these as tools as opposed to questioning yourself and thinking about the tools. You need to make the tools second nature. You need to make it so that, hey, I'm confident. I know how to draw. I want to express this thing about an old person and a child holding hands, you know, and there it is, you know. And so it's important because this is deceptive. Stick figure drawing is so simple that, and I ran into this very same thing myself. I thought, oh, it's so simple. I don't need to prepare or work on it at all. And then I started to play just a little bit and I realized, oh, there's such a broad variety and I haven't experimented with enough of this to know. So I need to do this. And so in the same way, if you prepare, try things out, experiment, then you'll be far more confident when it comes to the point where you actually need to use these tools. So as soon as someone's got something to pop up, that's why I'm staring off to the side. Maybe I'll just change my camera so you know I'm looking at you if I can find where the camera controls are. Oh, there. There we go. All right, I'm looking at you. Okay, so Trina. All right. Yeah, you got, oh, the little kid with the baseball cap, and he looks like, I don't know what's going on. That's kind of cool. Very cool. All right. Posture, you got motion lines going on there. The person's totally dancing, I think, doing a jig. It's all in the hips. The hips don't lie. Okay, somebody that's giving instruction. He's drawing on the board. RC, that's pretty cool. Absolutely. So you've indicated this is the leader, instructor. Diana, it's too dark. There we go. I can see it a little bit better. We've got a whole family going on there. All right. Okay. And that, yeah. Let's see. Monica. Okay, that's too small. I can't see what's going on. Oh, it's a doctor. He's got the thing on his head, little mirror, and he's holding can't see what's.
Stethoscope.
Oh, a stethoscope. Okay, it's a stethoscope. Yeah. All right. Okay. Right. So
you almost took us out of our PG rating there, Monica.
I'm cool. I'm a visual artist. I've been there, done that. It's not. I just no one ever get invited back to do any of these things. Okay.
This is my guy doing like, I don't know, like, you know, when you jump in the air and you make your legs go wide, like, yeah.
Totally there. And of course, you could add motion lines to tell us if he's going up or falling down, because he also could be someone falling uncontrollably from an airplane.
Okay, yes.
It could be used the very same thing. Pam, did you have something there that you were showing? I think you were. All right. Yeah, is it a stethoscope as well? Yeah. Is that what it's about? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or just write me a note here, or unmute.
No, I was trying to show someone with a kid on their back.
Oh, okay. Cool. Show me again. You're in a picture. You're that small, so that's part of why I can't see. Okay, yeah.
I have issues with arm placement.
Okay, well, play with it and experiment. And maybe the kid has to have their arms up too, so we know that it's not just a bag of groceries or something, that it's a human being back there, right? Cool. Oh, all right, Gord, yes. Like, yeah, jumping up, clicking the heels, and we have the noise marks, right? And they very quickly indicate to us that there's a sound happening. So yeah, you guys are doing some great stuff. I see, Colleen, you got something going on. Oh, an artist. Oh my goodness. Don't write on them. I just want to guess. Okay, karaoke for sure. You know what? You didn't have to write on any of them. What's the one on the left there? Can you move it over a bit? Is the guy with a cane? Oh, there's two people, gender in the cane thing. So you were following along with me, and then the others are your own designs. So yeah, accessories are going to definitely help to indicate occupation, gender, age, and I think the key is often to keep them simplified. Like we had the karaoke, you don't have to get into the whole karaoke machine. You can have a box and a microphone, and the microphone can look like an ice cream cone, have a wire coming out of it, then we know it's a microphone. You just get down to the bare minimum. That'll allow you to work quickly, efficiently, and get it's unlike Pictionary. It often goes Pictionary, people keep adding details that only confuse things. If you
I was kind of afraid of what the microphone was going to look like.
Okay, all right.
I wanted to make sure that it was clear.
Like I said, ice cream cone shape. Go with that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. I think we've lost our rating there, and we're
well into the land of TV 14.
But this is good to be aware of, because that is actually exactly one of the key problems is unintended meanings. And this happens in design. If you do a search on bad logos on Google, you will come up with so many logos that have been used by organizations and businesses that are downright, they are X-rated because people didn't think them through and didn't see the unintended meanings that were going on there. So how often, many times, does my stick figure legs attach a little too high, and then he's obviously male. That happens, it's excusable, but try to get away from those unintended meanings if possible. And again, play with them and ahead of time, and you'll be aware.
Yeah, Charlene has a question. How would you draw somebody in a wheelchair?
Let's do this. Let's play with this idea. I think we could get into spokes and all that kind of stuff, but I think the simplest thing, if we're doing it from the side, is do a wheelchair, and then you might have their body just floating a bit above to express that. And it could be as simple as that. Okay, new challenge. Oh, Amy. Oh yeah, holding a baby. Holding a baby that is probably crying, I think, or like, move it over a bit. I can't see the other one. The other way. I can't see the one to the other side. Oh, pregnant. There we go. Okay, we've gotten a new challenge. Do a wheelchair.
I was trying to do gender neutral for like a parent instead of a mom.
Okay.
So that's why I did the holding a child like that.
Yes. Okay, that's a great idea. Let's see your solutions for a wheelchair. Let's see. I'm going to try one from the front. That's going to be a little, oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's not working too well. Front is hard.
Front is hard.
Absolutely. Gets too complex and there's too much overlapping. So that is not the greatest. But I bet with some trial and error and experimentation, you probably could come up with it. Someone already did the pregnant mom. They just simply did a circle in the middle of the, what about hair? Again, if we're totally talking about just the concept of explaining something quickly to people, hair usually just gets in the way, unless it helps to identify, again, something specific about that person that's important to the story we're telling. And if it is, and oh, you can't see the others. Oh, okay. How
So
about working together?
I have one
Yeah.
here of like an older gentleman with, who's lost his hair a little bit and kind of
Mhm.
back pain. So would in that case, having
Oh.
hair on that would help?
Again, that could help. Absolutely. So
Okay.
yours is something like, and he's got back pain. So he's like feeling his back, and we could give him, again, a cane. And if we want to double up on that, we can do this. Something like that. The hair might be extraneous. You might find, hey, I don't even need to go that far, but, or maybe I don't need the cane. Maybe I need one or the other. And that's all that's needed. Okay, so the pregnant mom, I think somebody who drew that simply did something like this. Now, if that reads as obese, maybe instead we can, oops, do this.
Oh, I like that. The pain in the back.
Mm-hmm. I think I was just stealing off somebody that was already drawing that. So it wasn't too original. Well, our time is moving on. So I'm going to introduce a couple more ideas for you to play with. So the next thing is relationship. And some of you are already jumping into that. We had a person at the board, and obviously in a teacher or, oh, Rana, you got something there? Were you going to show me? No? Okay. So the teacher at the board, so you can use accessories to do that kind of thing. I've got the old man and the little girl here. Again, how do we, like, here's the thing. Let's try this one. So I'm going to have a caregiver, a female caregiver or nurse. And she's trying to deal with, yep. Let's just do that as, let's just, and we'll make her nice and calm and him not so much. And maybe we do say he's, oops, he's an older man. And suddenly, and I have them kind of turn towards each other. You don't have to play too much with dimension. You could just move the features a bit to one side, and suddenly they're looking at each other, right? You don't have to play with profile and all that business. It gets complicated. That is if you're doing faces. But, you know, and again, this isn't the most beautiful thing, but it doesn't have to be as long as it gets across the point. Okay, now how does she calm this guy down? This is the situation. So I've established that. Penny, how about working together without being cheesy? I'm wondering what that means.
Okay, I think she means like, because I'm trying to draw, how can you draw like collaboration between two people without getting them to hold hands or making it seem like it's romantic in some way or cheesy?
Okay, that's a tough one. I'm going to go back. I've got, yes, thanks. Do you start with a vision in your mind before you start drawing, or just start drawing and see where it gets you? I think that when you're practicing, it's more you draw and you can try. When you're practicing, try 20 different ways, or try 2 or 3. This is a basic principle again in design. Your first idea is usually your worst. It's usually the most cliche, it's whatever. So that's why, you know, you take it and then you refine it and you do it again. Then when you've done that a few times, when you're in public and you're trying to work in a meeting or something like that, then I think you start with then you're much more prepared to just go right in there and draw what you're trying to express.
So is it kind of like once you kind of find something that you're comfortable drawing that you think that you can use over and over again, you almost have like a library of quick images that you can pull from.
A
You're
library
under pressure.
and a style, right? You
Yeah.
can develop your own style that's you, that you're comfortable with. And, you know, I'm jumping back and forth between circles for hands and triangles. And I'm finding, oh, hands are great, or triangles are great when I want to express something open and expressive and receiving and giving. The circles really work for fists and grabbing and, you know, much more. So I'm using both, and I just jumped into that. And that's not something I had decided before today. That's something that, as I was going through this with you guys, became apparent to me, right? And so, yeah, react to your own stuff and learn from it in the process of doing it. Yes, instead of ending with a picture to encapsulate the thinking or idea, start with pics to start the conversation, then generate more ideas. Convergent versus divergent thinking. And definitely in both ways could work. Video stopped working. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm just jumping back through some of these comments here. Do you start with a vision? Okay, we did that. Okay. Have you looked at clip art? Absolutely. There's resources galore, and you can find all these things. The beauty of this is, you know, if you're wanting to pre-design something, presentation or something, sure, you can grab that. I'm aiming more at, we're sitting down together, we got a whiteboard, and we're just drawing, we're spitballing stuff, and I want to express a situation, and maybe even the visualization helps keep our discussion, our verbal discussion, on track. Maybe it gives us a record of where we've been if it's a series of images. Mm-hmm. Maybe it gives us a variations on a theme. You could try all sorts of other things. Working together, I'm going to jump back to that one. I'm thinking if we make it working, like are two people lifting a box together, and the box can then be labeled as whatever the task is, right? You can think it in more symbolic terms. Two people lifting the box and suddenly the task. So that's just spitballing right off the top of my head, one way just to deal with it. It's not the only, but that's the kind of thinking that you have to have. Don't necessarily be too literal, be able to use symbolism, be able to simplify. And when you need words to pop them in there, go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, reaching out to help someone over a hill or a wall, absolutely. So that's like a great idea. And you don't even have to show the hill or the wall. Oh, and if we have his feet, by the way, if I have his feet dangling down, then it becomes apparent that he's not standing on anything, right? And then I might want to do that.
You know, I see a lot of my virtual design school people here, and you know, this skill would be so useful when you're in the prototyping stage. So if you want to, do a quick, like, how do you hope people are going to react, or, a quick layout of what your idea is so that you can show it to people. It's this idea of just being able to quickly get down your thoughts and convey emotion and situation, and then show somebody and get their reaction to it. And that's really where I see a lot of benefit to having this skill.
The one last thing I'm going to talk about briefly, and we've got so little time, we're just going to be pushing it out there. That last one showed that sometimes, you might think, oh, I have to create a whole scenario. Sometimes just the figures alone, I could suddenly just do this. And there we go. Maybe that makes it way more expressive of what we're dealing with. So think about environments as they relate to scenarios and simplify them. And again, practice them and go, oh, I want to show somebody in a hospital bed. Well, how can I, as soon as we get into like, oh, there's this and there's the monitors and the controls and the clipboard here and this thing and then there's a railing and not going to do it, right? Just get simple. It's a rectangle. There's a person on it. That's somebody in a hospital bed, right? Simplify, simplify, simplify. Get across the point, and don't worry about getting all the details. The details will confuse the matter and get in the way. Yeah.
Love it. So does anybody have any questions for Randall, and not just on drawing, on any questions at all that you have about skills, technology, what he's working on right now, anything like that? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Raina, you look like you got something percolating in your mind. Andrew, you're turning beds into coffins.
If you've got anything to show as well, I'm curious to see if you're coming, what kind of ideas you're coming up with. It's very quiet.
So Charlene wants to know, do you know of any resources related to journal art?
It's or someone standing on the beach. Okay, there we go. If we have the seagulls, then we know it's on the beach. There's seagulls. Okay. Pale for sand. There we go. That's what we all dream of right now. To journal art, I bet you can find stuff online. It's not a specialization of mine, but I think this could be a great starting point, and starting simply and then developing your skill. And I've seen people use this to, I've had some brilliant students of my own that they're doing this stuff all the time. When they're taking notes and then they draw something, and it totally cements the ideas and makes them visual and far more memorable for them, because they're having to do that translation process and then the retranslation back. And it's absolutely, I think, a brilliant way to make things memorable, to make them stick in your mind. That same person, when they do tests and exams with me, like, they're brilliant. The stuff is there. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool and important thing you can do. What do you recommend for virtual tools, especially if we just have a laptop and mouse? If you can get a cheap pad like the Wacom tablet or a Huion or a XArt, whatever, there's cheap ones for next to nothing, and you can get any art app available for your thing. And as soon as you got that, then you've got the ability, I've got the pen here to draw on there, and suddenly, I'm looking on the screen by drawing here, and guess what? The first hour is absolutely horrible. It's like, oh, I have no idea, I'm drawing over there, and I'm like, but once you've done it for a little bit, it becomes totally natural. So you just have to practice a little bit. If you've got the wherewithal, I think you might even be able to get these days a phone and a
stylus.
Stylus, yes, that's the word. I'm getting past nouns at this point. Starting to happen. Okay, a stylus or something like that. So there's a bunch of virtual tools out there, and I love this because I have an unlimited number of pages and materials on this app alone. I paint, I draw, I do all sorts of things, and it saves like time lapses of what I'm doing that I can share. Slowing this up.
You know, speaking of that, we have some questions about whether you teach beginner classes and where you teach. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
No. Okay. Okay. I do, ever since COVID, I've been teaching free online Facebook Live art classes, and I only stopped about a month ago, and I'm going to be taking them up again in November, I believe. I'm hoping to. And so there's still about 42 videos online, about an hour long each. They start off teaching you how to draw naturalistically. And then the actual class, I've only had like 5 people stick with me all the way through. And they're all mature students and very serious, and including my mother at 82, or no, 87 now, but she started art at 82. And she's turned out to be brilliant at it. And now if you join in on the live classes, you present your art to me and I critique it live and show you how to improve it, fix it. So that's one of the things I do. I'm teaching art, painting and drawing at Rosebud School of the Arts, which is a theater school. And I'm teaching a 2-year program in graphic design at Prairie College, and doing that one virtually, all online. Other than that, I'm not doing a lot of in-person teaching or anything anymore. But I'm open to different opportunities, and I'm just at the moment super busy, but I am not going to be soon. So we'll see. Sketchnote handbook. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one, Cindy. Yeah, the sketchnote. And you know what? A lot of inspiration for sketchnoting can be found on Pinterest too. Just going on and kind of seeing what people are doing and seeing what you can do to copy it and then make it your own. So I think we have time for one more question, and then we're going to wrap up the session. Whoever would like to unmute themselves. All right. Well, now I think you answered everybody's questions, and
oh, wow. That's crazy. I mean, here's just part of the beauty of working digitally, is it can be all saved and presented after the fact.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough of that.
Well, thank you everybody for trying out this class. This is a new kind of class for us at A4. And so I hope that you'll take a moment to go to the session survey on Whova and rate it, so that we know if we can bring Randall back for some more instruction.
I'm done.
I'm not done with you yet, Randall. I hope you had a good time and that you tried something new and you learned something. And we will be seeing you again, hopefully at the plenary at 2 o'clock. And if you're not in Calgary, that is about half an hour from now. So please join us at 2. We've got Kate Hilton speaking. She is a dynamo. And don't forget to tweet out your favorite moments, or save a picture, send a selfie to Whova. Even better, send out a picture of your sketches and your new expressional way of drawing. That would be fantastic.
You guys did fantastic. I loved seeing your work. It was great.
Yeah, thank you for your participation, and thank you, Randall, for sharing your art with us.
It was a pleasure.
Take care, everyone.